Got a hard copy as well.
Oh, okay. And, you know, you can probably check around. Let's see, so there's 4 of us. Are you doing?
I'm going offshore this weekend. I'll probably be gone the rest of the next month or so, on and off.
All right, so you're not going to participate in the question? Okay. So we need to change the names on there. So James, you want to sit in on the questioning?
Sure.
All right. So I wasn't sure since y'all weren't here last night. I wasn't sure you were going to be here tonight. So
I appreciate y'all coming out and grilling me. This is nice.
the names are correct.
Okay.
We better get started pretty quick. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for running.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody being out here. Thanks, Brian, for letting us use your office. And thank you the last couple nights. Just a couple ground rules, and then we'll jump right into it. You probably know everybody here, or so, Brian Crumby,
Yeah.
Ken Vaughn, James Spires, and Larry Vaughn. Larry Vaughn.
Rogers.
Larry Vaughn.
I know.
Larry
Yeah,
Vaughn.
Yeah.
Well, Larry Vaughn is my brother-in-law. So, yeah, little Raylan's brother. Anyway, so what we'll do is give you up to 5 minutes opening. That's where it's try to be a little, liberal. Excuse, pardon the word.
Yeah, please.
Questions about 30 minutes overall.
All right.
Answers will limit to 2 minutes each. If you have a yes or no, within that 2 minutes, it's kind of open for everybody to kind of ask a follow-on question to
Mhm.
that.
Yes.
But we'll kind of keep it at 2 minutes, and then we'll cut off and we go to the next
Okay.
person. And all of that will be just going around the table.
Okay.
James, you want to come on up?
Oh, sure. Okay.
If you don't mind. And then,
There's a real seat over there.
and then we'll give you
Oh,
up to
good.
5 minutes closing, based on, if you want to clarify anything.
Okay.
Just closing statement. So with that, our timer is going to be Mr. Rogers overall, and I'll try to keep up with the questions. Let me get my trusty timer.
What's that? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, this is wrong. Sorry, I found a wrong answer.
It's too late.
All right. It's wrong.
Okay, so, up to 5 minutes to do your opening. Everybody ready?
Go.
Commence.
Hello, my name is retired Colonel Rob Harmon, and I'm running for Precinct 2, Commissioner, Montgomery County. I guess the first thing I just want to say is it is a pleasure and an honor to run. It's also the biggest pain in the ass I've ever undertaken in my life. I had planned on running based on the fact that I was asked. I looked into the job fit my skill set, and I prayed about it, and I really felt led to do it as I prayed more and fasted about it. I did do some calculating beyond prayer. I calculated on 3 people that I approached, and that was first of all Steve Toth, who asked me to run as well, and Julie Turner, she asked me to run as well. And I talked to several people, including the bunches, and they pledged their support. And also Brandon Crichton was encouraging of me. I got into it with the thought that they were going to do some fundraisers, and I would move forward, and I would have Steve's help in his office to move forward. As you all know, all 3 of those people who pledged their support to me in the beginning have now started their own races, so they've sucked the air out of the room. And as much as I enjoy this, it has been a step in faith, because I've had to ask myself, am I running based on my faith and my belief that I'm the right man for the job and my needs will be supplied and I'll be able to run a good campaign, or was I counting on some people? Well, when I say they sucked the air out of the room, they sucked all the money out of the room. And all 3 of them had said, and especially Steve has said, it's going to be very difficult for you to move forward, because I don't see how you're going to get the finances to do it. And that was very discouraging the other day. But I talked to some people, and I prayed some more. And what I just stated when I came in, there were some answers to prayer, so I decided I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna put my trust in God and not on man. So, I believe I'm the right person for the job. I believe I have the skill set. There's a large piece of this office that people don't think about. It's emergency preparedness. It comes down to planning. It comes down to understanding contracting, and it comes down to understanding how to manage people. It comes down to being a leader. All those things have been absent. And I believe in a county that is this prosperous and with this fast of growth, the pace, that is this time that we need somebody to do strategic planning and to prepare the way for the future for us to maintain our prosperity. And that in a nutshell is why I'm running.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Brian, let me start with you and we'll counterclockwise.
So as you know, this county is growing crazily.
Yes.
So, you know, and so where's the balance between encouraging that growth and discouraging the growth, or accommodating it, or spending money on it? Any way you want to say it. What, you know, where's the point of, okay, you know, we're creating this bubble that's going to pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where is it logical growth and where is it too much growth?
Without discouraging builders and people that want to come here, it is part of the commissioner's job to take projects such as building prisons to try to get a profit for the county. It is the commissioner's job to go out and encourage business to come, especially in a place that's not growing. We don't have that problem right now. So the problem does lie in the balance. Part of the problem I see is that the business owners and the developers that are coming in are showing their plans and they're being stamped and they get to move forward, but they're not carrying some of the burden and responsibility and finances for infrastructure. As I understand it, you know, when they start to build this complex or development out on Camp Strake, there are only 700 acres of it is they can actually develop because a part of it is a floodplain. We have to watch that like a hawk. The commissioners are going to have to watch that like a hawk, and they're going to have to, before they rubber stamp it, it has been approved by the county, they're going to have to understand that the builders must hold some accountability to the amount of traffic that they're going to put. I would like to say that I understand that completely and how to go about doing that, or holding them to some responsibility for the infrastructure and paying for the roads and how that expands, and putting some of the burden, more of the burden of taxes upon the builders. And that's where negotiations are going to come in, because like you say, you don't want to discourage growth, but some of these developers have to understand that they have to have some of the responsibility for what they're doing and what they're putting on infrastructure.
And so when you say responsibility,
10 seconds.
you mean talking about money or?
Yes,
Okay.
money.
James?
Let me give you a scenario. The sheriff comes to the county commissioners and asks for $5 million to handle an increase in cartel crimes. The constable, we'll say your precinct, comes and asks for $5 million to handle to deal with child sex predators. You've only got $5 million. Who will you give it to and why?
Please restate.
Sure.
The
Sheriff asks for $5 million to deal with an increase in cartel crimes.
cartel and then sex crime.
And the other is the child sex crimes for the constable.
First of all, I would see, these are overlapping problems. I mean, drugs and sex cartel go hand in hand. We have one, you have the other. So I really believe if you're fighting one, you're fighting the other.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see immediately how they're working together. Are they already pulled their resources? Are they talking? And what information do they have, and how are they pulling their resources?
The sheriff and the
Yeah,
constable.
and then you make sure that they are working together. I mean, you see it. You see their plan of action, you see their communication. You make sure that they're working together on both of these problems. And then you see that they have the manpower to do this. I know for a fact that the constable's been asking for 4 constables for years. And he's shown where in a business plan, their increased constables will pay for themselves and recouped in traffic ticketing and other ventures. The commissioners have turned down his request, and he told me, I didn't ask for 8, I didn't ask for 2, I asked for 4, 4 is what I need.
Mhm.
And he needs it because of the increase in crime. They told the commissioner, instead of that, we want to move you into a building that a nicer building in that complex they just built. But we want you to come in and check out for the remodeling. So they went in and gave their remodeling specifications. They remodeled it, and they told the commissioners, well, we're really not gonna put you here, we're gonna put you, leave you where you're at. And then they told another group they wanted them to occupy that building, and they came in and remodeled it for what they needed. The money that was lost in that remodeling could have hired 8. So you probably don't need to give $10 million. What you need to do is you need to manage the resources that are already at hand. You need to make sure they're communicating, and you need to split the difference, basically, split the difference. They get on board together, $5 million, if they need it. Who says they need $5 million? You find out how much they need, make them work together, split the difference.
All right. For this large budget, what are the 3 major areas in the budget right now that you would like to see adjusted up or down on the budget?
First of all, I need to get a handle on the slush funds. Do you understand the slush funds right now
Yep.
with Road and Bridge? Need to get a handle on that. I have no visibility of where that's going or how much is being spent. That's a mystery. There's no oversight in that. So the main budgeting and seems to be what's sucking us dry repeatedly is this need for road expansions and road repairs. I think once I get a hold of that, the budgeting, do me a favor, state the question one more time for me.
With the 3
Trying to get back
major
on track.
areas to adjust the budget.
To adjust the budget, the 3
Right.
major areas. First, get a hold of the slush fund, which is not used for road and bridge. It's used for whatever they want.
Right.
I have to find out where that money's going. Okay, once I get a handle on where that's going, then I look at the main thing right now is transportation, and it's a debacle. And I have to get a handle on that with the other commissioners. And this is where the other commissioners, we have to work together. And once we get a handle on, where we're going with that money, what we've done, and a real plan for repairing roads and moving forward with the expansion of roads, then we can take that money and we can look into water, of course. Water's a huge problem right now. And we can see where that funding's coming from, what's coming from the state. I don't know if any federal dollars right now have been allocated, and I don't know the budget for the San Diego River Authority. I don't know what that is, what's going into that. I have to pull that together for water. The third area would be what we talked about, crime. Crime protection, that's on a huge problem right now. There's been 10 home break-ins in what is that? It's a little rich section of the Woodlands, where Gordy lives. Gordy Bunch lives. Carlton Woods. There's been 10 house break-ins in Carlton Woods. We've got a real problem with crime, and it's just not being reported.
That's because that's where we send them.
Yeah.
We have a sign,
Go
not
to
here, go to
Carlton
Carlton Woods.
But that's the problem. The problem with answering your question is I don't know what's going on with that slush fund. I mean, I have no visibility of that, and once I get a hold of that, then I know where to allocate the money properly. But that's my biggest frustration. In fact, that's one of the reasons I'm running. Is I just couldn't. I just got so upset, so to speak, for the slush funds and the way they have this money without oversight. I just thought, kind of like this, we can't continue. Right.
What is your understanding of how the Commissioners Court figures out who gets more money or less money of each commissioner's precinct?
A good point.
Good point. My understanding is this all happens behind closed doors, and it has to do partially also with revenue in the Woodlands. Obviously, they get most of their revenue from the Woodlands, so NOAC is a valid point where I should get more money because I have more revenue and there's a lot more expansion going on.
Say that, answer that.
There's more expansion going on, so I should. That's probably his argument. A lot of this happens behind closed doors. Another reason I'm running. I think this should all happen in open sessions in the evening time when everybody could attend. And it's my understanding from the county judge right now, not judge, county attorney, that it's a real problem about how they allocate money to one another and what they do with it. And that's why there's a, I guess, litigation in the shoot about that. I don't have a lot of understanding. All I know is they fight it and they fight out instead of planning. It's more or less, I have this going on, will you give me this for that? And there's a lot of haggling. And it's a,
How would you think that it should be handled?
I think that where you have centralized government is in the county. I'm a constitutionalist, I'm a free market guy, I'm a total capitalist, and I hate I despise centralized government, the federal centralized government. I don't like state government. It's centralized, it's a rule from the state is too big. But at some point, things have to be centralized. At some point, you have to pool your resources under one community, and it has to be doled out from one location. That point is the county. And like I said, in open budget hearings in front of everybody, where the allocations need to go because of where things need to be fixed according to the plan of devaluation and what is expanding.
Okay. In one of our open meetings a few months ago, you came in to talk to us, and one of the questions, and this is kind of circling back to transportation, that you would take federal money under any circumstances. Can you expound on that?
Sure.
How you would do, how you would work within the budget, and then also taking federal money from that standpoint?
As I understand this, and this is on me because Steve was supposed to send me the memo and he didn't. There is some Texas, in the Texas Constitution, there are some Texas constitutional mandates of the requirements of the county. And as I asked Steve after the meeting, I called Steve Toth and I asked him, for input into this, and he said there are constitutional requirements and laws on the books that some of the money that we pay to the federal government, that money has to be returned, it has to be received, and it has to go to funds. Just like some of the federal and state parks, a certain amount of that money and revenue has to go back to schools, I think the bus system, there's some things that's allocated too. And if you want to cut it down to, what if it's federal money, yeah, it's federal money, but it's constitutionally mandated to come back.
Do you know what form that comes back in?
It's just a cash payout of the budget, and it goes directly to that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm required by law to take federal dollars to fix our roads, or if those monies are available with no strings attached, then yes, they need to be taken. The problem is we're not talking about social issues here. You can talk about money where we have to parse and compromise our morals, to take the money. No, if I was in a legislative seat where I was taking federal dollars and it went against all moral beliefs for myself and my party, then the answer is no. You don't take those dollars. They come with strings attached, especially in education, dollars that come back from the federal government that have strings attached to education. If it's our roads and there's nothing attached to it, and it's required by the Constitution that I have to do that to fix the roads, then yes, you take the money.
We're at the 15-minute mark.
Brian? Red light cameras, what's your view on them?
I don't like them. They don't work. They don't prove anything. They've never done anything but cost money. They don't stop any accident. There's never been a camera to stop an accident. There's never been a camera to stop a crime. Have the pictures been taken where you can mail in and give a ticket? I mean that works in a lot of cities.
So you're saying that doesn't deter people from running red light when they know the camera's there, or what are you saying?
It's not been proven to. I mean, it's not been proven. If the money's already been spent and they're there, should we use them? I don't know. If they serve no purpose, You know, I'm a science guy, you know, I'm statistics. If they don't work for what their planned purpose is, then we shouldn't use them.
You say you're a statistics guy,
Okay?
so I'll give you a statistical issue. Now, you realize, the precinct I live in, there's gonna be huge growth because we have 2 amusement parks coming in. There's a lot of open territory. Unlike the Woodlands Precinct 3, you're in Precinct 2, there's probably gonna be growth there as well. But the largest valuations are, of course, the Woodlands. So my question is, looking at what they were trying to do with the bond issue this last time, they're just gonna divvy it up equally among 4 commissioners. Do you think that the different precincts should keep the money that they should be entitled to the money they raised? Or do you think it should be distributed evenly among all the precincts? Or do you think that basically if your precinct is the one that's growing, no, better yet, my precinct is the one that needs the money, how are you gonna answer to your precinct
That's good.
that they should or should not get that money?
This comes back to that issue where, when I say the point of centralized government is the county, it almost sounds like I'm a socialist when I'm talking. I'm not. But at some point in government, you have to centralize your funds, and that, you know, that you could argue the city, but I think it's at the county level. And
So you'd be
so,
willing for my precinct to take your precinct's money,
yes.
you're saying?
That's why the commissioners have to work together. That's why they have to plan.
Okay.
All 4 commissioners have to plan. They have to work together. They're commissioners that vote on issues for the whole county. They're to keep each other in check. They're not Commissioner Precinct 2 and I just take care of it. That's a problem. They have these little fiefdoms with their big bag of money, and they just run their little fiefdoms, and he doesn't know what he's doing in there because they're too busy arguing.
On that issue, so you're saying basically you would work for regional cooperation among all the commissioners?
That's exactly
okay?
it.
Planning. Now, along that issue, recently, you know, we had the grand jury inquiry, and we saw commissioners, and then no names, because they gave no names, so I'll give no names, who've been on the bench for over a decade, who started in that when, you know, Montgomery County didn't have 1/10 of the money it's got now. And all it took was a stinking $50 million project and corruption entered into, you know, publicly known corruption entered in, or even the FBI came. How can you assure us, because you're talking about managing a $300 million plus budget,
Almost $400 million now.
and that doesn't include the money that they're going to borrow?
That's right.
How can you give us the assurance, or give us a sense of you've got the integrity that we don't have to worry about power money coming in your hands and corrupting?
I can give you no guarantee but my word. And if you could walk my last 20 years, you would have no worries.
Well, what in that last 20 years you think we should look at to know that your word is worth it?
I'll give you some names of some generals if I can find them that I've made sweating mad because I wouldn't tell them what they wanted to hear.
Okay.
Good.
Let's look at toll roads. What's your position on toll roads?
Oh, I'm not a big fan of them. The reason I'm not a big fan of them is because,
You've got only 5 minutes left.
okay, and you know, the big thing about socialism is you know, everybody gains, and because, you know, we're all gonna do this together and everybody will do the right thing. And that's the way toll roads were sold, you know, it's gonna make a lot of money and we'll pay off the road and everybody will be done with it. But that has never happened, ever. It's never happened. And I just don't see it happening again. You know, I just don't see it happening again. So I don't like them. I don't want them. There's other ways to raise the money. It may not be a popular way, but if you do the math right and give the numbers and people understand what they're buying into, then that's usually a better way. They've never worked, ever. They continue to go, and then they're just such a source of revenue, so much greed involved. It's just they never work. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Let's keep going then.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
More
hold on a
questions?
second. Well, I got a question on the time. Did you say 5 minutes? And what time did we start?
7, I
We
thought.
started at 7:18.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
excuse me, okay, you know what? I said that wrong. It was 7:13. I wrote down 7:13, I don't know why I said
okay,
7:18. We started at 7:13.
all right.
So 21 minutes.
7:13,
So basically, we've got
We've got about,
10 minutes.
yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I think, are you up?
Were you through this?
Search
Oh,
it.
really? Yeah.
Okay.
Two questions, but one real quick, just
Clarification.
on the application, or on the questionnaire, you said that the question is, list all applicable political, civic, or union. And you said you are the communications director for Steve. Is that in now or in the past?
It is a title. It's just a title. I work with Steve, I help him get elected. He wanted to help, bring me on board with something, and he said, well, you've done so much work for me. You're my voice here, so we'll just call it communications director. Meaning, there's all kinds of events that happen. He can't attend. I go. I handed out flags at the Boy Scout Eagle thing for him. And that's what it entails.
My main question was, generally, not specifically, but just generally, give us an overview of how you, your plan for your campaign.
My plan for my campaign is, one, work hard to get 3 fundraisers. Each fundraiser that I'm working on these next few weeks, I'm asking for 10 grand from each of my fundraisers. 3 people have stepped forward to help me get money. And one of them's from church, and one of them is a physician that a group I work with, and another is a guy that works with Steve Toth. He said Steve can't really help. He's going to jump in and help me raise some money. I need 30 grand. I need 30 grand in total. I need 17 grand by mid-December so I can secure the few TV commercials I do, which will have to be a rally factor right before the campaign. So people can see me, get a good picture of me talking, speaking to them right before they vote. I need to secure that. That's where I'm at right now, and walking. I am walking. I have the lists, names of everyone that has voted in the last couple primaries and bond issues. I will knock on every one of those doors. 5,000 doors to knock on. Every door I knock on, I get a vote so far. Walking, raise a little bit of money, and some advertising, mailing.
Is that no shot? Okay, good. Where did it check?
Okay, we talked about growth. Brian asked you a question about your philosophy towards growth. Did we cover tax abatements in there? Okay, so what, in reference to that growth, what are your, our most liked guy in the county, J.R. Moore, being the tax assessor collector, is sometimes gives tax abatements to companies coming into the county, including the Woodlands. So what are your criteria for granting those tax abatements?
Are you talking temporary tax abatements or complete?
That'd be up to you.
Yeah, it can't be complete. I mean, they have to have an initial, if that's the negotiation to get them here, and they said, well, if I can have a tax abatement for so many years, you have to weigh that against the revenue and jobs they're gonna bring. I don't have any hard and fast numbers right now for you. It's something I need to learn more about. But it would be related to what are they bringing to the county, and long term, what they bring to the county. Is it on the balance sheet as a business that it has a likelihood of surviving, of coming in and doing well, of creating jobs, creating taxes. If I give a tax abatement, are they going to be a tax surplus after the abatement, after they get going? Usually it's 2 years. You plan your business to fail for 2 years. You make money in your 3rd year. So tax abatement for 2 years, might be something to lure them in. And then a 3rd year, are they going to make money? Are they going to bring us revenue? If they're never going to bring us revenue, why give them a tax abatement? So that's usually the criteria.
So you're gonna be put under lots of pressures. Everybody, wants this, wants that. Everybody's got competing interests. And there's a lot of pressure to bend to people. So when you go and try to figure out make these decisions of things you haven't thought about before, been faced with before, what are you gonna use as your guide to figure these hard problems out?
I always go back to my true north.
Which is,
You know, is it moral? Is it ethical? Do they, you know, who's gaining what? And is it good for, I guess, bottom line, is it moral? Is it a moral company? Is it a moral decision? Is it the right decision based on, is it good for the county and not end justifies the means? Too many people live in an end justifies the means world, meaning I can turn my head for them doing bad business in the past or breaking the rules sometimes, because in the end they're gonna benefit the county financially. Those are gonna be the hardest decisions. If I am vetting a company that has had some questionable practices in the past and they want to do business in the county, and I can see where, well, that might, you know, really benefit us in the long run. You know, sometimes you have to say no, even when it looks like it's the right thing to do dollars wise. But you know, if they've had questionable practices in the past, and their company, you know, their company could besmirch the name of our county, and that sounds kind of crazy, but you know, the greatest thing a man can have in the end is his name. So I guess I carry that onto the county. We're a very respected county. And when you hear Montgomery County, you feel proud about that, right? So do I want to bring anything into the county that when I say Montgomery County, I'm not proud about that anymore? That's kind of your true north. Okay?
Let me ask you a pragmatic question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Time, what do we got? About 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Pragmatic question. It's not really anything you can do as a county commissioner, but it's on your questionnaire. It deals with the program to identify and deport illegal aliens. Now, you may not be aware, you may, that when we deport someone, we actually can only deport them if the country they're from is willing to take them.
Mm-hmm.
And I assure you, if we gather even 100,000 illegals, most of them will be Mexican, and when we try to shove them back across the border, after the first few thousand, Mexico's going to close their border. So what would we do then? In other words, if we want to deport the illegal aliens, how do we actually go about doing it?
Well, let me start by first, you're talking deporting. I'm going to bring it back to the county. How do you get them out of the county? Maybe so they don't want to be here. Right now, if you stop if I get rear-ended by an illegal alien, and then I get pissed, I get out, and the sheriff comes up and he says, you know, let me have your papers. No habla English. You have a license? No. You know, registration? No. Insurance? Sorry, this guy's illegal. Doesn't have any insurance. Right now, they'll let that sheriff will let him drive away. Just drive away, and you're left, you know, with paying the deductible.
So you want him to take the guy to jail?
No, I want him to impound his vehicle. I want the sheriffs to impound their vehicles. Don't, you know, if we take them to jail, we get in trouble with, you know, that's on Fox News. They're putting all the illegal aliens in jail.
Costs money too.
Yeah, it doesn't cost hardly anything to impound their vehicle, does it? All their yard equipment, all that stuff. You start impounding vehicles from illegal aliens, they won't want to do business in our county. And people may get mad because the price of their yard care may go up, but you know, I think that's the only way the county level we can send a message. And actually, it's the right thing to do, especially if they're not driving with insurance or they're not driving with the right license. You know, so it's cold and hard to think that you're going to leave them standing on the side of the road, but it's either that or they're in jail, and they'll send a message. That's
Okay.
my personal thought on it.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your preferred way to raise revenue? I mean, would you be, you know, would it be sales taxes? Would it be property taxes? Would it be, you know, some income tax?
I despise property tax. Not on businesses, or, you know, but I despise personal property tax on homes. It's to the point where I think that, you know, property tax is fine if there's, you know, you don't pay it and your house goes away. It always makes them feel when you're paying property tax like you never really own your house. You know, sales tax, the problem with sales tax is, you know, if you make it too high, people go buy it somewhere else. You know, but you gotta collect taxes. My preferred way is I like more of a flat tax type of system, you know, where just people pay, you know, and everybody pays. And I prefer that way of revenue.
Well, property taxes are flat.
Yeah, they are, and we're collecting them, that's not gonna change. So, what I don't prefer is that we raise them anymore. In fact, I'd like to see us lower the property tax. Yeah.
There's 50 seconds left, I think, total, because I did 2 minutes before, 2 minutes now, so
Quickly,
we got about a minute.
Give us your opinion of certificates of obligation.
I despise them. If a bond issue fails, it fails. It's a backdoor way of borrowing money because you haven't balanced the budget and you have plenty of money in the budget. And,
What is your understanding of what you can use it for?
you can use them for an issue that has to do with safety. Something happens in the road, you can't get the money, some natural disaster, something that happens that you can't get money for, it's main thoroughfare, it's dangerous, powerless, whatever. If it's causing danger and hindrance to the population, you know, and you have to spend the money on it, then that's probably it.
Okay. This time. So we'll give you 5 minutes to do a closing. And
Okay, first of all, I don't have all the answers. The more I try to study about the county and issues in our state in the late night hours, and I do mean late, like when I go home tonight, you know, I'll pray, kids will go to bed, and I'll hit the internet and try to catch on my email and try to study. The more I learn, the more I know I don't know. When I talk to Steve Toth, he says he feels the same way continually. The more he tries to unravel the budget that's in the state, you know, the more confused he gets. And then the more he learns about government, the more he realizes he doesn't understand. But that's the problem. The problem is we've made it so complicated that the people that want to do malice towards the county have an easier job of it. Because when it's complicated and it doesn't make sense to anybody, there's a lot of people behind the scenes getting over. Just the other night, I saw that the federal government's been defrauded of around $3 billion in sending tax refunds to people that don't exist. I mean that's the problem with government. I can't fix the federal government, and I don't think I can fix the state government. But one of the main reasons I'm running is I really believe we can fix the county, and the county's where we live. You know, it's where we do business. It's the people we know. You know, it's our law enforcement. It's our life. You know, and if we can't fix the county, then you know we got no hope of fixing the state. So when I thought about this position, I thought, well, you know what? I believe that I'm the man for the job. I believe I have the skill set. I've got so much to learn. It's overwhelming, but I've had overwhelming jobs before and challenges in places far, far away. So I'm not intimidated by it. I'm not overwhelmed, even though it is overwhelming, because as long as I keep my head down and my nose in the books and I stay on my knees, I know that I'm going to have the right answers. And not all the time, people are going to get mad at me, but that's where I come back to you and I say, these are the problems I'm facing. And that's what the commissioners don't do now. They don't come back. They have a problem. You don't hear from Doyle. Does Doyle come into these meetings and ask you, I got these problems? See, the success in this is keeping you close at hand. Because you know you're the experts. Each one of you has your own little piece. And that's what I plan on doing as a commissioner, is keeping people like you close, so that I can make the best decisions for our county. And that's all I bring: open, honest, governance, and that's what I'll do. I promise. My word is as good as gold. I said I would be here tonight, and Nick's car broke down in 45, and I worked like hell to get here, what we got here, It's just making it happen, And that's just the way it is. That's who I am, and that's why I'm going to be in office. What you see is what you get. That's it.
Great. That concludes it. We appreciate you coming in.
All right, appreciate you guys having me.
For office, really appreciate your time.
All right.
And,
Well, if you like me and you endorse me, I need a fundraiser. I like to say I can beat him with good looks, but I'm not that good looking.
thanks a lot, Ron. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks.
Hey, guys.
Enjoy the weather.
Your car still sitting on the side of the road somewhere?
No, we got it
Right there
here.
now.
Okay, here's the deal. I prayed that I needed an NCO. He didn't have a car, so my wife got on her knees the other day and started praying, God, please get me a car. By 8 o'clock that night or so, he had a BMW for 800, or 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he had a BMW for $800, 2003. Needs a battery, a little bit of work, but man.